All right. So, Unit 2.2 portfolio. I want to walk you through a couple of the steps and try to clarify what we would like to see as you are starting to outline the viewpoints and you're starting to gather quotes and come up with the primary arguments in this analytical paper. So, I'm going to go to my first article here, and I haven't done anything. This is my Conrad template for the writing portfolio. And I'm going to click, I believe this is here's my first article here. And it's called Why Many Schools Have Given Up Teaching Cursive Writing. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to copy the title of this article. I'm going to come back and I'm going to pop this right here because I know that I'm going to be using this. I just got done reading that article and oh, that's pretty ugly. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to go up and use the clear formatting. So it just goes back to normal formatting right here. That's the source. But I need to go up here and get the viewpoint. So let me go back to the main in this. Why many schools have given up teaching cursive writing. And so this is viewpoint number one. And students still need to learn to write legibly is the general viewpoint. I'm going to control copy that. I'm going to bring that back over here to the viewpoint number one and put this right there. Again, that's a different font in a different format. So I'm just going to go back and I'm going to clear that formatting out and just take it back to regular old standard fonts here. And then I'm going to move on to the primary argument. So the quote, now you're going to have to come up with these arguments. After you read all of these articles, you're going to have to come up with so when people say, students still need to write legibly, that's a pretty generic viewpoint, but there's a lot of inherent arguments as to why they think that's the case. And so the primary argument that I'm going to say here is that one of the main arguments, cursive writing not only improves penmanship, but it also improves cognitive skills. And so one of the arguments I bumped into as I read this is that apparently, according to supporters of this particular side of the argument, is that when students learn to write cursive, there's a lot that goes on cognitively in their brain that actually helps support other modes of thinking that have nothing to do with writing whatsoever. And so it actually it enhances somebody's capacity for critical engagement and critical thinking skills. So, okay, that's a pretty big one. So over here, in the article, I found that, where did it go here? Virginia, right here. Virginia Beringer, a professor emeritus of education at the University of Washington, has another view. Her research shows that cursive instruction helps students with spelling and makes it easier for them to compose thoughts quickly, skills that can help them meet contemporary standards. And so I'm not going to necessarily use this whole quote in my article, but I'm going to take that, I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to bring it over. Now, I want to talk a little bit about quotes and direct quotes. Anything from a research article is quotable because you are, in this particular case, this person is talking, but really anything in here is a direct quote right from the author. And so the author of this particular article is right here, Melanie Burney and Kristen Graham. And so anything in here can be quoted. Don't feel like, or definitely you don't need to look for quotes in order to quote it. Anything in an article is quotable material because you're quoting the authors. So after I get done with that article, I would then go to my next article and I would continue to find further quotes. Now, if let's say one of these articles has multiple quotes that are really strong based on the argument that you laid out, one of the primary arguments that this viewpoint makes, then you don't have to use all three articles necessarily, but let's try to use at least two of your articles and not only just one. And so what you're going to do for this, for the rest of the unit 2.2, is you're going to read your articles. You're going to come up with two arguments for each viewpoint. So you're going to take, for this viewpoint right here, you need to come up with what are two of the primary backbone, most critical arguments that the people who feel that that cursive is a necessity, why do they think that? And what arguments do they make? Over here, why do these people think that it's not important? What are the key arguments that they make? And so that's when you're establishing these arguments here. That's what you're doing. And then you're putting evidence that's going to support those arguments. Now, this is not an argument paper, as I've mentioned before, but you are analyzing how other people construct their particular arguments in their particular viewpoints. And so in your analysis, you get to wade into that a little bit, but you're really analyzing, you're picking apart, how are these arguments structured? Why do they think this way? What do they use for evidence? That's what's important. So you're going to go through, and then after you get the first viewpoint done, you're then going to go to the second viewpoint. Obviously, you're going to read those articles. You're going to come up with two of the strongest arguments on that side of the issue, and then you're going to provide quotes, and those quotes, once again, should support this argument that you lay out. So you can't really do this until you've read those articles, and then you're going to go back through and comb through the articles. I hope that helps. As always, if you have any questions, let us know.